Hey, this is Greg from Mote. I'm an education advocate, and I'm really excited to share this idea of audio rubrics with you in this walkthrough video. So we know that rubrics are a pretty consistent part of any classroom when teachers are providing feedback on writing assignments or projects or anything that they might be assessing. And what I want to do in this video is combine the idea of rubrics, how we might build them in a Google Sheet, a pretty common tool that is kind of embedded in classrooms, but then with the capacity of Mote, add the ability for teachers to provide audio feedback for their students, to provide really high quality, thorough, and effective feedback in a rubric, and really change the dynamic of how students are receiving feedback in these digital spaces. So I have 3 rubrics that I'd like to share with you in this walkthrough. We have an auto grading, auto color coding rubric, and I'll walk you through that whole process and then how we can layer this nice capacity of Mote audio on top of it. We have a basic rubric that you can fill it on your own, and then a single point rubric. So let's get started with this one here. This is an auto coloring, auto grading rubric that we can add audio to. So the way that I've set this up, I have 2 kind of big assessment categories. We can see here in this top light purple with these criteria 1, 2, and 3. And then we have another assessment category down below, criteria 1, 2, and 3. You can absolutely make a copy of this template and then modify the layout. You can pull some of these off or add more on if you'd like to. Now, what I really like to show you here is in the way that I built this rubric where we have does not meet the standard all the way up to exceeding the standard, and then I have point values of 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've done a few things on this sheet. One of them is add some conditional formatting. So conditional formatting is really just a rule that says if something appears in a certain cell, then follow this command. So we'll tap on and select all of these cells here where we might be providing feedback. I'll go to Format and Conditional Formatting, and you can see we have a rule that's already been built, and it says if the text of any of these cells ends with an asterisk, turn the cell purple, turn the font white. So what that looks like is once you go in here and you add your own criteria for meeting the standard, exceeding the standard, almost, and does not meet for the different assessment criteria, to actually give the grade, you simply double tap to edit that cell, add an asterisk, and notice how the cell turns purple and the font turns white, so students know exactly where they're landing on the rubric. Now, the other thing I've done, I'll pull this asterisk off, is in the score column off to the right, I have a little bit of formulas set up there as well, and you can see it across the top here. It says, if the rightmost thing in C5, so C5 is right here, if the rightmost thing in C5 is an asterisk, then put a 1 in this score cell. If the rightmost thing in D5 is an asterisk, put a 2 in the score cell. So anytime you add an asterisk to the end of that kind of assessment criteria and description, it will automatically color code the cell, and then it will also turn the score cell a certain color. And then down below, we have a simple formula running to add all of those scores together, and then we have our total score in the rubric. So whether you use this exact template, modify this one, or just take some of the conditional formatting ideas or the kind of if-then statements for each of the descriptors of the criteria, you can now build your own color-coded auto-grading rubrics. But here's the best part, and this is where Mote comes into play, where we can provide some really effective audio commenting. If you'll notice in this G column, I have a big field that says audio feedback and comments here, and it says insert audio with Mote here. And here's how you do it in Google Sheets. We're going to go up to the Google Chrome extension and tap on Mote. Record my voice. So this is an example of me recording audio feedback in the rubric using the Google Chrome extension for Mote, and that audio is going to play back as a little drop-down audio file directly in the sheet. When I'm done recording, providing my feedback, I will simply hit done. And you can see on the top here, that's the most recent audio that I've recorded. Now the link to this is automatically captured in your clipboard. So now that that's already in my clipboard, what I'll do is go to the cell that says audio feedback and comments and simply paste the URL of my feedback. Now that that's in the rubric, all students would have to do is hover over that cell, and notice we get that immediate drop down, that little pop-up Mote audio card that they can listen to directly inside the rubric. Now notice as well below, I like in my rubrics to add strengths exhibited and areas for growth. So down below we have 2 more locations where you can add more Mote audio, maybe as a more holistic overview and feedback and commentary on student work. So that's the whole process. Using the Mote Chrome extension, you simply tap the Mote icon to record your voice, and when your voice is done and you're happy with the quality and the quantity of your feedback, simply tap done. That has been copied. I'll head to my field where I'd like to insert, simply paste that link, and then when we hover over, we get that drop down. Now, if students have the Mote Chrome extension installed, they will get that little drop down audio card. If they don't, they can always click on the link. It will open up in a new tab and then provide feedback for them. Now, what you can also do if you don't want to use the Chrome extension to copy the link and paste the link into your rubric, I could also leave very specific audio on any one of these cells. So I could do something like I will add my asterisk there to color code and drop my score, but I also might want to insert a comment, and I can absolutely use the insert comment feature here and then use Mote as the Chrome extension. So here's another way that I can add audio into a student rubric simply by doing an insert comment feature and then adding a Mote comment in this capacity. I'll tap done, comment, and now that bit of audio is automatically saved. The only drawback to this approach in a Google Sheet is a student would have to see that little icon and know to hover over that little yellow indicator that there's a comment there. You might also indicate to them that anytime a cell is auto color coded purple, I've left you some feedback. Now let's take a look at another rubric. I have the same version of the one I was just showing, but this one has the auto scoring pulled off, so you can have your own point values. You don't have to do a 4, 3, 2, 1. This standard rubric does still have the conditional formatting of if an asterisk is the rightmost thing, then turn that cell purple, turn the font white. Now there's one more that I'd like to share as well, and I think this could also be really powerful. So this is a single point rubric. So unlike the standard ones we were looking at that go from a 1 to a 4, and we have those kind of 4 distinct measures, on a single point rubric, we have the criteria that's listed down the middle for this project or task or assignment, and then there's a column on either side, one for evidence of exceeding the standard on the right-hand side, and then we have a column of the left for areas of improvement. So this is more of like an ongoing rubric where you're really trying to identify growth and opportunities for students and ways that they're already excelling. So in this model, we can do the exact same thing. If I think according to criteria number 1, there's evidence of like really solid growth, I can tap on this cell and again, insert, comment, and then record my voice. And now I'm providing audio feedback directly in this rubric. That's one way that I can do this. Or like I just mentioned earlier, we can always use the Chrome extension. Tap on the Mote icon, record your voice using the Chrome extension, not the comment feature. And when I'm done, that will copy to my clipboard. And then I might drop this in this top left-hand cell instead. And then if a student hovers, once it loads, they will get the little drop-down playable Mote audio file. Now, in terms of making these function in your classroom, the approach that I would take is take this tab, and you can right-click on the tab and duplicate. So now I've duplicated this tab, and instead of copy of, I would rename that for the student, go through the process of evaluating their work and adding their feedback to it, and then I have this rubric for my viewing purposes. But what I can also do is click on this little caret icon here, this down arrow, and then copy that to a student spreadsheet. Whether I copy that to a new spreadsheet and share it with the student, or I copy that to an existing spreadsheet and it would simply add on so the student can see their own feedback. Now that's one way to kind of make this whole process work. What you can also absolutely do as well is I can take a copy maybe just of this auto grading rubric, and anytime I'm providing feedback for students, I would do File, make a copy of the entire thing. So File, make a copy, rename that copy for the student, and then share that over to the student when they're done, or put a link in their assignment. So that's the process of creating audio rubrics with Mote. We added this nice little layer of conditional formatting, auto color coding, and auto grading. So I hope you found this idea to be helpful. I hope using Mote in Google Sheets in your rubrics, you can provide some really thorough and kind of timely and helpful feedback, whether you're using the traditional layout here or possibly you're going to adopt the single point rubric approach. So good luck with this process. I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.